Now then, a question. Have you decided who you are going to meet over Christmas this year? Well, yesterday, of course, we had the news about those temporary Christmas bubbles. And tomorrow, well, we're expecting to hear all about the new tiers being put in place as lockdown comes to an end. Our social affairs correspondent, Jeremy Ball, is in Loughborough for us this evening. Jeremy, good evening to you. And very festive indeed, it looks there.
Yeah, and the trees up, of course, the lights are on, but of course Christmas is going to feel very different this year because those infection rates across the East Midlands are still far too high. So the next few weeks are going to be really crucial. And we can show you here how COVID hotspots across the East Midlands have been constantly changing. Now this map shows how positive COVID tests have spread since the start of August. The darker the colour, the higher the rate. You can see concentration first around Leicester, but then Nottingham sees even higher rates, which spread to surrounding districts. Their rates eventually come down after those tough Tier 3 restrictions. Now, though, Leicestershire and Derbyshire are looking more worrying. And just look at the numbers here. They're still highest in Leicester and Oadby and Wigston, with over 400 COVID cases per 100,000 last week. There were 4 other districts with rates still above 300. The good news, though, across this region, those numbers have started to come down. So this latest lockdown does seem to be working.
So how is all this going to change what we can do next week, Jeremy?
Well, that depends, of course, on what tier you end up in. We're expecting to hear details tomorrow. We do know that shops and gyms are expected to reopen, but because rates are so high across much of this region, we're expecting a lot of people to go back into Tier 3. Now, that means no household mixing indoors. That means pubs and restaurants will only be able to serve takeaways. A development today, the leader of Nottingham City Council has asked for his city to move down into Tier 2 because he says rates there have halved since the peak a few weeks ago. Of course, there are other considerations, though. The pressure on hospitals, for instance, the fact that a lot of people are still dying, over 300 COVID deaths across the East Midlands region in the last week alone. So, as we come up to Christmas, still no room for complacency.
No, there certainly isn't. Jeremy, thanks indeed for that.